It was a slap that echoed through Port Charles, not just figuratively but literally. General Hospital fans were left breathless after an explosive confrontation that ended in an open palm stunner that will go down in soap history. But what led to Brook Lynn Quartermain's emotional outburst?
Who did she slap?
And what secrets were revealed in the aftermath? Let's break down the creative and shocking 4,000-word journey through one of the most powerful General Hospital episodes of the year, a story of betrayal, ambition, and heartbreak. The day started like any other at the Quartermain estate. Olivia was busy in the kitchen preparing a family dinner, Tracy was already sipping her first glass of Chardonnay, and Ned had his nose buried in YelQ paperwork. Brook Lynn, however, had been on edge for weeks. Ever since her wedding to Chase, things hadn't been perfect. While she loved him deeply, there was a nagging feeling in the back of her mind, a suspicion, a whisper, something unspoken. Chase had been distant. He had canceled a trip to New York under mysterious circumstances. And she had noticed him checking his phone more often, always walking into the other room when answering calls. Then came the anonymous tip. A simple envelope slid under the Quartermain front door. No name, no return address. Just one sentence inside. He's not who he says he is. Brook Lynn's world tilted off its axis. As the day progressed, Brook Lynn couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. She confided in Maxie, who warned her not to jump to conclusions. Maybe he's just planning a surprise for you, Maxie suggested. But Brook Lynn knew her instincts were sharper than that. She reached out to Damien Spinelli, who owed her a favor from years ago when she covered for him during the Lucy Co-Nurses Ball scandal. Spinelli worked quickly. What he found rocked Brook Lynn's world. A burner phone registered to Chase, frequent communications with an unknown number traced to Nina Reeves. Why would Chase be in constant contact with Nina? Brook Lynn didn't have to wait long to find out. Across town, Nina was having a crisis of her own. Her share of the Crimson Magazine stake had suddenly been frozen. Drew Kane, taking advantage of his rising power at Aurora Media, had begun an internal audit. Nina suspected it was retaliation for past sins, and she needed someone close to the Quartermains to help her regain control. Enter Harrison Chase. Fans were shocked to learn the truth. Chase had made a deal with Nina. In exchange for digging up dirt on YelQ from the inside through Brook Lynn, Nina promised to help his brother, Hamilton Finn, get reinstated at GH following the latest malpractice investigation. Chase had done it for family, but the betrayal to Brook Lynn was undeniable. And worse, Nina had another angle. She needed Brook Lynn to fail, personally and professionally, so she could exploit a vulnerable YelQ member and further manipulate the company into her grasp. It was during a seemingly innocent brunch at the Metro Court that everything unraveled. Brook Lynn confronted Chase with the evidence. At first, he tried to lie. "That burner phone isn't mine," he said. "Spinelli makes mistakes." But when Brook Lynn pulled out printed messages, intercepted by Spinelli, where Chase had not only coordinated with Nina but had described Brook Lynn as emotionally volatile and easily distracted, the truth became inescapable. "You used me," she whispered. "You used us." The restaurant went silent. Maxie, sipping a mimosa 2 tables away, froze. Nina, standing by the elevators, turned pale. Sonny Corinthos, in the middle of a meeting with Brook, looked up as tension crackled in the air. Brook Lynn rose from her seat. "You played me," she said louder. "You made me fall in love with you, all while feeding my family's secrets to her." Chase opened his mouth, perhaps to apologize or to explain again, but it was too late. The slap that followed was electric. A sharp, echoing sound as her hand connected with his face, raw, fierce, and full of every ounce of pain and fury she'd been holding in. His cheek reddened instantly. So did the eyes of everyone watching. Even Tracy dropped her fork at the Quartermain table nearby. After the slap, Brook Lynn didn't say a word. She simply turned and walked out, tears forming but never falling, her dignity intact. Chase stood frozen. But the silence didn't last. Maxie approached him first, disgusted. "I believed in you," she snapped. "We all did."
Sonny was next.
He gave Chase a warning look. "You get mixed up with Nina again, and you'll have more than a slap to worry about. And then came Tracy. The elder Quartermain had watched the entire scene unfold, and though she had her issues with Brook Lynn over the years, this time, she was proud. "She's a Quartermain," Tracy said loudly enough for the entire room to hear. "And we don't forgive betrayal." Brook Lynn wasted no time. She went straight to Yelkyu and called an emergency board meeting, revealing the messages Chase had sent to Nina. While Chase wasn't technically an employee of Yelkyu, the breach of trust, and the fact that information had been passed to Nina, a known corporate saboteur, was enough to send the board into a frenzy. Michael, Ned, and even Drew voted unanimously to freeze Nina's shares permanently. What followed was a legal injunction that left Nina fuming. But the final blow came from Willow. "I can't believe you're still doing this," Willow said, staring her mother down. "Even after everything." "You don't understand," Nina replied, tears in her eyes. "I understand perfectly," Willow snapped. "You manipulate, you lie, and you justify it every time." Meanwhile, Chase tried to apologize to Brook Lynn. He showed up outside the Quartermain gatehouse, waiting for hours, refusing to leave. When she finally opened the door, her expression was unreadable. "I know I lost you," Chase said quietly. "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness." "You're right," Brook Lynn replied. "You don't," he tried to explain. The deal with Nina had started months ago, before he and Brook Lynn were even officially together. He had hoped to cut ties before it got serious. He hadn't known he'd fall in love with her. But that made it worse. "You did fall in love with me," Brook Lynn said, voice trembling. "And you still betrayed me." Fans are now left wondering what will happen next. Will Brook Lynn forgive Chase? Can their love survive such a devastating betrayal? Spoilers tease that Chase will spiral. With his career in limbo and his reputation destroyed, he'll consider leaving Port Charles for good. But Gregory Chase's condition may bring his sons back together, and Brook Lynn's heart isn't made of stone. Meanwhile, Nina is plotting her next move. She's angry, cornered, and more dangerous than ever. Valentine may return to help her, or stop her, depending on how deep his loyalty to Charlotte runs. In the days that follow, Brook Lynn finds unexpected allies. Lulu Spencer returns from rehab and reaches out. Having known betrayal intimately through her past with Dante, she understands the depth of Brook Lynn's pain. Their old feud fades, and a new friendship forms. Maxie helps Brook Lynn relaunch a new record label, free of Yelkyu oversight, giving her a chance to reclaim her professional identity. And in a surprise twist, Sasha offers her support, becoming a mentor figure after surviving her own heartbreaks and scandals. Brook Lynn is not just surviving, she's thriving. Across social media, the scene trends for days. Hashtag Brook Lynn slaps Chase becomes the most talked about hashtag in soap opera history. Fans dissect every moment. The flicker in Brook Lynn's eye before she struck. The sheer audacity of Chase's betrayal. The poetic justice of Nina's public humiliation. Soap pundits call it one of the top 5 slaps in GH history, comparing it to Monica slapping Alan, Carly slapping Brenda, and Liz slapping Sam. But it wasn't just about drama, it was about empowerment. Brook Lynn stood up for herself. She refused to be manipulated. She took control of her story. And in doing so, she reminded everyone why the Quartermains, messy, proud, and explosive, are still the heart of General Hospital. The ripple effects of Brook Lynn's slap are far from over. Will Chase win her back? Will Nina retaliate? And how will Yelkyu recover from the shockwave? One thing is certain, Brook Lynn has changed. She's no longer just the fiery daughter of Ned and Lois. She's a woman forged in betrayal and reborn in power. And she has a whole new future ahead, one where she writes the melody, conducts the orchestra, and never lets anyone else steal her song.